What up, guys? Today we have a question from Jordan who asks me, Chewy, what is the best way to learn from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Instructionals? So that's a good question, right, Jordan? Because a lot of people getting into Jiu-Jitsu, you have instructionals all over the place, and they can be this really useful resource if you know how to use them properly, or they can simply contribute to information overload, which is, everywhere, right? There's information everywhere. So how do you make best use of it? So I'll give you the ideas that have worked best for me after 20 years of grappling. I started using instructionals back in 2003. That said, I cannot give you the best way for everyone, right? Again, I think we all learn a little bit differently. There's a lot of research to back that up, and certain things connect with certain people. But I think this would probably be useful to you if you implement the strategies that I'm about to talk about. So first things first, I skim through the whole darn thing. I don't look through it in depth at first. I just kind of want to get a feel for what is it offering me, right? And I'll look through it and just kind of flip through the videos. Then when I find the specific thing that I want to work on, I will then watch that video over and over again, several times, and try to get a feel for what they're teaching me. I'll take notes, the whole thing. In some cases, if the move is a little bit more unfamiliar to me, I will actually record the video of them on my phone, or I'll watch it on my phone and take screenshots or whatever I need to do to make sure I have something to jog my memory of how to do it, so that this way, when I go to the gym, I can then practice it. Now, with a technique that I'm unfamiliar with, this will typically start with very slow technical practice, right? Where I'm trying to get a feel for the technique. If it's a position that I'm already very familiar with that I think I can use tomorrow, I'll then do just situational rolling, or I'll just try to hit it during my regular full rolling during training, right? And that's what I'll do. Now, once I'm done using the technique in some live setting or some drilling setting where I got my hands dirty, so to speak, I kind of did something with it, then I will go back and watch the video of that specific thing that I'm trying to implement again. Because what happens with it is when you try to use a technique, a lot of times there's a lot of details that you're missing. You got to think about this. The people making these videos and these instructionals, myself included, right? I have some on my website. We spend years developing this stuff down to these little details that we figured out years of doing this stuff, right? There's going to be no way in hell that you're going to learn all the details that I just shared in one setting with that thing, right? You're going to have to go to it, practice it, and then come back and watch it again. Now, what happens is as you do the technique and you played around for a little bit, you watch it again, then you start to see things you missed, right? Now, they were already there, but you weren't ready for them because you didn't have much experience with the position or the technique or whatever it is. So then I will sort of see what's going on. If the technique wasn't working, I'll try to figure out why it wasn't working, or see if there was some detail I missed, or see if there's an answer to that particular problem in the video series. And then if it was working, I'll start to think about, well, what else could I do with this particular thing that I'm working on? And I'll just go back and forth in this process. I will watch it, get some details, get some information, go practice. Get done practicing, go back, advance the instructional a little bit, or keep watching what I was trying to hit. And I'll keep doing this for weeks to months at a time until all of a sudden it's starting to work, right? Or until I'd say, to hell with it, it's not going to be my thing. But most of the time I can get something working. Now, that said, one thing that I keep in mind anytime I'm using an instructional, anytime I go to a seminar, whatever it might be, I'm not trying to get this whole thing mastered, right? Keep that in mind. Again, we spend our time in jiu-jitsu trying to really master just a handful of things that we can do very, very well, right? And so again, I don't think I'm necessarily going to master this whole thing, but for me, it's worth it if I can get like one or two things that I can then use at a high level, like let's say if I'm competing in the black belt divisions or something like that. If I can take a technique that I can use at a black belt level, to me, it's worth it, right? So again, I may not get all the meat off those bones immediately, but if I can at least get a couple things from it within a few weeks to a few months that I can use at a high level, to me, it was worth the purchase, 100%. And so try those things out, right? Think about skimming through it, watching it, putting it into practice, rewatching it. And again, don't feel upset with yourself or guilty if you don't get everything out of this, right? You may not, it's okay. But if you can get at least a couple good techniques that you can use effectively at your skill level, to me, that's worth it. So just an idea to chew on, Jordan. Hopefully it helps you, brother. I'll talk to you guys next time.